welcome to a brand new high school football season. The Red Devils opened up with a win on Friday night on the road at Connersville, snapping a 12-game losing streak. And now they set their sights on Lawrence North this week. Should be a fun week of high school football once again. Head coach Tony Lewis, kind enough to be with us this week as we go inside Richmond football. And, boy, I tell you what, I was as proud of a football team as your team on Friday night as any team I've seen here in the 29 years I've been covering high school football. And that was a great win for you guys.
A very good win. Our kids, worked extremely hard in the off season and leading into that first week of practice, and obviously through the scrimmage and everything. And I thought our assistant coaches had a great game plan going into the game. Our kids executed it well. We gave up some silly stuff late in the game, but I thought our kids played extremely hard, and it was a good way to start the season for us.
Yeah, as you and I talked about afterwards, I thought you set the tone so early in that game that they were, speaking of Connersville, battling uphill the entire time.
They were, and we felt like if we could get on them early and kind of put them on their heels a little bit, for lack of a better way of putting it, we wanted to put them away early, and we were able to do that for the most part, obviously going into halftime leading 28-0 and trying to get some things going in the second half and get some of our younger kids in, and we had some mistakes at that point, but again, the coaching staff did a great job getting these kids ready to play, and they played extremely hard, and now we look forward to a tough Lawrence North team.
Coach, when you go back to the beginning of the ball game and your special teams kind of did set the tone as well, and you got that block punt and that set you up for the first touchdown. Talk about that and how that also kind of really put the momentum in your favor.
It did. Stephon Huber made a great play on the block punt, and Jacob Haynes recovered it there, put us in great field position. We were able to score, I believe, on his own play, the next play, and get us off to a great start. So we told our kids all week, early games, especially week 1, week 2, week 3, a lot of times come down to special teams and turnovers, and we felt like if we could make a play in special teams, it'd give ourselves a better opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, not only did the Red Devils jump out 7-0, you come back again immediately. Your defense does a great job. You score quickly again. It's 14-0.
Right. I thought, Coach Cordova and our entire defensive staff did a great job getting our kids ready to play. Our kids, after I think it was a very beneficial, obviously, against Delta in the scrimmage, we had some blown things that we had. But I think looking back, playing Delta allowed us to do a lot of film work and understand that everything starts with your keys and your eyes, and our kids understood that a little bit better going into Connersville, and that was a bonus for us. And I think during the week in practice, we actually practiced against their offense without using a football so that everybody understood they had a certain place they had to go.
Yeah. I tell you what, too, and we talk so much about offense, but your defense hit hard. There were a couple of plays, including Trayshawn Jones, who made the big hit on their one receiver. They got him looking around the next time they threw the football to him.
They did, and Trayshawn had a heck of a game for us. He was our defensive player of the game, probably made 4 to 5 outstanding plays for us, some big hits, a big tip ball on a fade. But overall, our defense played really well. Again, we gave up some stuff late, but very proud of our kids. And it's something that obviously we want to build on that weekly. So we'll hopefully build on last week's defensive effort this coming week.
After you had a chance to look at the film, were we pretty correct afterwards in talking about the physicality, the way you guys played up front?
We were more physical than we obviously were against Delta, and one of our things that's on the bottom of our practice plan is we want to be physical and be better conditioned than the other team we're playing. So I felt like we were in better condition. We'll continue to do a lot of different conditioning things at the end of practice, what we call our fourth quarter drill. And I thought we were more physical than Connersville, and that's something that, again, we've got to continue to get better at.
When you look at your running attack, too, and we'll talk about Wyatt, and he gave all the credit to those guys up front, you could really see how those holes were opened up, and they were opened up very quickly, and he was able to choose where he wanted to go.
Yeah, and the great thing about Wyatt is one, he's a humble kid, and he did give the credit where the credit was due was our offensive line. Overall, our offensive line played extremely well. And along with that, Wyatt sees things really well. Our zone has basically three options to it. He's either going to bang it up in there, he's going to bend it, or he's going to bounce it, and he does a good job of reading what our offensive line is doing up front to determine what he does with it.
It takes a special running back to do that, to make that decision, because he's got to make it in a split decision.
He does, and again, Wyatt's vision is good, and he's got good quickness, obviously, and he's got good strength. Obviously, he broke some tackles for us last Friday night, which, again, with him being able to do that, it hopefully will open up the passing game down the road. Obviously, passing-wise, we didn't get much last week. It's something that we'll continue to work on. But in high school football, you got to be able to run the football.
Yeah, and Alec, in his defense, I mean, you're up that you really don't need to pass it too much, right?
You're exactly right. And, I'm sure some fans wanted us to throw the football, but the bottom line is week in and week out, we're going to do what we feel like we can do offensively for us to have a chance to be successful. If it's throwing the ball, we'll throw the ball. If it's run the ball, we'll run the ball. And what's working, we will continue to do. So we're not going to stray away from what's working. I think too many times you can do too many things, and I think that's kind of what our coaching staff has gone through today in preparation for Lawrence North. We're trying to pare things down to get better at some things that we need to do.
Yeah, I heard you talk to him a little bit ago about let's do this well, and that's exactly what you're talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We need to get better at certain things and do those things well. And, as you move along throughout the season, you throw stuff out that you realize, hey, our kids can't do that. Yeah. And, a lot of what coaching is figuring out what your kids can and can't do and getting them in the right place to be successful. And, we're going to try and do that the best way we can.
Can you talk a little bit about the defense from a standpoint? They were playing a 3-4, I believe, last year. You go to a 4-2-5, I believe, this year. Talk about your philosophy defensively.
Well, again, a lot of that is based on our personnel, and we felt like our personnel fit the 4-2-5 a little bit better. We don't have a lot of depth, on either side of the ball. But in terms of defensively, the 4-2-5 allows us. We probably have 6 to 7 kids that we can rotate at that defensive line. And for us, our defensive line is a big key in the 4-2-5. Those guys have got to keep their shoulders square. They got to keep those offensive linemen off our linebackers. Our linebackers have to read how they're getting blocked. And, basically our defensive linemen are going to get 3 type of blocks. They're going to get a down block, a reach block, or a drive block. And if they can get good at reading those 3 blocks and keeping their shoulders square, then we've got a chance to be successful in the back end with our linebackers and our strong safeties. And
not only did they, I think, again, back to the physicality side of things, they did exactly what you needed them to do, right?
They did. And we told them, a lot of times you're not going to get credit, and you may not make a tackle of your D lineman, but if you're keeping those guys off our linebackers and creating some technique matchups in terms of how you're defeating that block, you're going to put yourself in position to make tackles down the road. And our defensive linemen did that. We had a lot of tackles from our defensive ends, some from our tackles, and that was because they were keeping their shoulders square.
Well, before we talk about Lawrence North, the one thing that I noticed at least a lot on Friday night, I was mentioning names all over the place. So it wasn't 1 or 2 guys. You had a complete team effort on both sides of the football.
We did. And, some of our goals, we start with great pursuit defensively and gang tackling. And we felt like overall we did a pretty good job with our pursuit. And we had several guys around the ball that can always improve. And, we made some great plays. Obviously, we mentioned Trayshawn earlier. He made some great plays. We created some momentum in the special teams when we blocked the punt. Mm-hmm. That's one of our goals, and Stephon did a great job of that. So we're going to continue to get better, and our defense is all about pursuing to the football and getting a lot of guys there.
I'm glad you mentioned Stefan Huber, because that guy was everywhere, wasn't he? I mean, you're talking about playing offense, defense, which you got a lot of guys doing, as you mentioned, with a lack of depth. I thought his kicking was spectacular, because this young man was an okay kicker last year. I think he's a very good kicker this year.
He did a great job, and we're, kickoff-wise, he pinned some guys in the corner there, which is what we want to do. You know, he's an excellent punter, and we can do some different things with him punt-wise in terms of fakes and stuff, and did a good job on our extra points. And he's very reliable in terms of field goals. So if we need to kick a field goal, we have confidence in him. So, yes, he did a great job. Also did a great job, made an open field tackle on one of the kickoffs, and he's one of our fastest guys. So we've made him – not many kickers are hitmen, but he's one of our hitmen on kickoff.
I think he might have been down there 2 or 3 times kicking off and making the tackle, wasn't he?
He was. And Julian Holguin was down there extremely quick, and I thought those two, along with Jewel Taylor, did a great job on our kickoff team.
They certainly did. All right, when we come back, it's week 2 coming up on Friday. We'll talk with the head coach about Lawrence North coming up next right here on Inside Richmond Football on Radio Troy Digital Sports. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame in Richmond, Indiana was founded in 1973. Its mission is to honor the men and women who have excelled in high school, college, or professional football based on their coaching, athletic ability, citizenship, scholarship, and significant supporting contributions to the game of football. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame includes retrospection from Indiana's prestigious football history, from the late 1800s to the present. When you visit the hall, you'll see the names like Weeview Bank, Vegas Ferguson, Newt Rockne, and Lamar Lundy. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame is located at 815 North A Street in Richmond and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. There is no entrance fee and donations are appreciated. Take time to visit Indiana football history at the Indiana Football Hall of Fame.
I got this.
I got this.
I got this.
At Harrington Hogue, we believe your life belongs to you. That's why we work hard to make sure that your insurance coverage is the last thing you have to worry about. So when it comes to keeping you protected,
We got this.
We check them better. Every Wetzel Better Buy certified vehicle is fully inspected and reconditioned by ASE and factory-trained technicians. And each Better Buy vehicle comes with a Carfax vehicle history report, so you know you can buy a vehicle with confidence. We back 'em better with a 3-day satisfaction guarantee. Every Wetzel Better Buy certified comes with a 3-day or 300-mile satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it within that 3 days or 300 miles, just bring it back and we'll exchange it for a vehicle of equal value. Every Wetzel Better Buy certified vehicle comes with a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. We price them better. We have dedicated individuals searching the entire country for the highest quality, lowest price vehicles for our inventory. In today's competitive market, we're constantly monitoring vehicle values to ensure that we're offering the best prices possible. We guarantee that every Wetzel Better Buy vehicle is the highest quality used car or truck around. Our reconditioning process guarantees that you are getting a vehicle as close to brand new as possible, and our warranties back that up.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Game 2 coming up Friday night. It is the home opener against a Wildcat football team out of the MIC. Lawrence North will be in town. To remind you again, it's also a special night of celebration as we get a chance to honor all the greats of the past in Richmond football, and they'll be dedicating them on Friday night, so do not miss it. All right, Game 2 Friday night. We'll get to Lawrence North in a moment. Health-wise, how are you guys, at least at this stage, going into this one?
We had a couple guys banged up. Bryce Brown rolled his ankle there, I believe in the third quarter. He iced it this weekend, and hopefully he'll be good to go. Hopefully Monday, but maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday. Also, Blaine Pierce tweaked his knee a little bit. He's had an issue with one of his knees. He tweaked it, and Saturday we took it easy on him as well. But, we use our Saturdays to come in and get the lactic acid out, do some running, do some lifting, and hopefully, again, going back to being in better condition. So those are the two main guys. We had a lot of guys that were sore, which are going to be on Saturday, but that's kind of what our program is built on Saturday is getting that soreness out.
Okay, Lawrence North, what do you see in them? And after looking at them in the first week, what do you see?
A lot of speed.
Yeah.
They play. Lawrence North plays in the MIC, which is probably, if not one of the toughest conferences in the country, it's in the top 2 or 3 toughest conferences in the country.
Yeah.
And extremely fast. Lawrence North every year has great track team. They've got some guys that can run on both sides of the ball. Offensively, got a very accurate quarterback. They like to run buck sweep. Their 2 guards are extremely athletic. They're going to be pulling quite a bit. They've got some good running backs. They'll run jet. They'll run buck sweep. They'll run some ISO, and then they'll run boot pass. And they've got fast guys on the outside where they can wheel guys as well. So offensively, very tough to cover a lot of different fast guys that they have. And again, they've got a big offensive line. Their 2 tackles are 6'5 plus. 2 guards are probably 6'1", 6'2", and about 260. And move extremely well. I think the key to their offensive line is their guards. And then defensively, they'll be in a 4-4 type look. They'll run some man free. They may run a little bit of cover 3, but basically they're going to be man and lock your outside guys down and put a lot of guys in the box to stop the run.
Yeah, don't let that last year record fool you, right?
No.
Yeah.
If you take away their 8 losses were in the conference, which is like I said, the toughest conference in the country, and they're extremely good. They looked extremely good in their scrimmage. Won last week against Perry Meridian handily. Gave up 1 touchdown and scored over 60 points. They were up basically 43-0 at halftime. So they put a lot of points on the board, so it's going to be a big challenge for our defense. But again, it's in our thinking is this game is going to get us ready for conference play.
Right.
We're going to learn some stuff about ourselves. Our concern this week, going into this week, is how are we going to get better? We're going to watch film on Lawrence North, and we're going to know their tendencies, and we're going to know what they do. But more importantly, we've got to get better.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, how would you? It's a challenge to coach anywhere. But how would you like to coach week in and week out in the MIC, huh?
Oh, that'd be tough. Now it depends. Again, they're dealing with probably close to 3,000 students, so you got a lot of different players to choose from. But that's a tough conference. I know some of the coaches in the conference, and it's just a meat grinder of a conference. Yeah. Every week you're playing a tough opponent, so it's a great conference.
It's like playing in college, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, very
yes,
true.
it is. You've got some great talent and some great big guys. And, the Big Ten and Notre Dame, different places, mine some of those talented guys from the MIC.
Looking forward to being home, aren't you? I mean, it's great to be home.
It's great to be home. And I want to go ahead and say this for our fans out there. Our game time has been moved from 7 to 7:30.
Okay.
Lawrence North's bus situation required us to bump the game back. So start time for this game will be 7:30 p.m.
Okay, very good. We'll make sure we make note of that all week as well. So, Coach, thank you. We'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you very much. Go
Red
right, Devils.
There you go. And don't forget, again, 7 o'clock is our pregame time now, 7:30 kickoff from Leibold Field. We'll see you next week right here in Inside Richmond Football and Radio Troy Digital Sports.